Hello everyone, this is the Panda Photographer, also known as Alexander, and give me just one moment here and as I set up my live feed for you guys, and we're going to talk about the Nikon D850 and a event that I'm going to be participating in. So with that said, looking at the live chat here, I'm trying to get my chat set up here. Alright, so let's scroll up. So welcome everyone to the live chat. This is Alexander, also known as the Panda Photographer from 646studios.com, and today I want to talk about two things. Okay, I want to talk about the Nikon D850 and the Central California Bull Bowl events, which is like an American Bulldog event that I'm going to be participating as a photographer at. So if you guys are interested in joining me or want to find out more about that information, stay tuned. I will actually let's talk about that first before we get into the main topic, which is the D850. So I will be participating in the Central California Bully Bowl 2 event. Now, a photographer slash promoter and event agent named Rico Ramirez, he's hosting this event, and him and another photographer, Ruben, asked me if I want to join, and I should join because I don't have much time in the States actually at this point. My green card would expire on the 19th and I would have 90 days to exit after it. So once we take the opportunity to just go and just have some fun, maybe make a few dollars and make some money as I'm doing this. But it's the 23rd of September. It is going to be hosted in the Abu Dhabi Memorial Hall, which is in California, Central California. I don't know where that is. I don't really travel through California unless I'm flying over or by bus. But hear me out. This is my first American Bulldog event that I'm going to be participating in, and you can go to his name right here if you want to participate. I will leave the link. I will leave this information in the link down below, and you can go to the host, which is Rico Ramirez right here, and he's the person that is going to be hosting this dog event, and he's just been doing this for quite some time now, and you can see on his events, the dog championships, nice dogs by the way. But you know, us Europeans, we love our British Bulldogs sometimes, but dogs are dogs. Dogs have potential. So this is all his photos and championships and winning, and it's pretty cool stuff. But check it out. But as I said, I'm going to be participating in this and take some photos, so it's going to be fun, I guess, in a way. But it's no different from sports photography, by the way. This is going to be like a indoor event, hopefully an outdoor event, hopefully. So it's going to be cool. But with that said, yes, go check it out if you guys want to participate or want to show up for. I'm not sure how much tickets are, so you might want to go and to the Facebook advertisement page and find out for more information. But I will be joining the Ruben, another photographer out here in the Bay Area, that is going to be driving down there. So if things go well with me through my processes with the immigration, then I will be able to go to this event as well, because I have 90 days after that. So with that said, let's get to the topic of today's discussion. The Nikon D850. Now, it has been released body only, $3,299.95 for the body, As you guys are probably aware, you probably saw some pre-videos already, but this is different. This is not about preview. This is about discussion. Trying to see how many people will come into this live chat and talk about the Nikon D850. Now, you guys already know the specs. 45.7 megapixel camera sensor. It's going to shoot about 9 frames per second with grip. But off the bat, it's going to be shoot 7 frames per second without the grip, so keep that in mind. So it's going to have 8K and 4K time lapse, but it's going to shoot 4K video in 30 frames per second in full frame with no crop. So we've seen really big changes coming out of Nikon, and at which Canon will listen to this, because Canon is where this is where Canon falls apart. Canon doesn't listen to its consumers and users. Canon doesn't think that 4K is important and DSLR cameras. They think it's not going to help them make money or continue to make the trend for the Canon users and future Canon photographers. But I guess Sony and Nikon is going to be taking that step and taking some of these Canon users perhaps away, because I'm seeing more and more Canon shooters transition over to Sony. If not, they are transitioning over to Nikon. But I believe that this is going to be a big change. I think most people that are going to be using Canon the Canon 5D Mark IV are probably going to want to buy the D850, just because of the 4K with no cropping and full frame, which is showing some potential. Now keep in mind, it has a tilting touchscreen in the back, but here's the important part about this camera, okay, that the camera does feature illuminated buttons. So if you're doing night photography or pinch black areas, this is going to help. And I know some of you guys have been in this situation, just like myself, have been in these troublesome times where when I'm in a dark spot, when I'm doing astro photography and I can't see my buttons, I have to pull out my flashlight. That's really annoying. So this is where Nikon had listened to its users and listened to its consumer base and said, hey, just add that feature to the 8D50, and let's take it upon ourselves to add more features to better off our cameras and sell it at a reasonable and decent price. I think this is much better than, let's be honest, the Sony A9. Sony A9 is roughly $4,600. This is $3,300, as I estimated in the video. I came close, but I said it was going to be around about $3,500, but I was close. $3,300 with the grip. You're spending about another couple $100, so let's say $3,600. Okay, and you gotta buy extra battery and for that grip and such forth. So yeah, you're still spending less than the Sony A9. Excuse me. But you know, FX full frame, 7.7 frames, 45.7 megapixels. Pretty much overkill for portraits, but very ideal for commercial use. Almost to the form factor of medium format, but not quite. 45.7, 7 frames per second. Native ISO is 64 to 2560, but it can expand to 100,000, 200, 400. Shoots 4K UHD 3840 by 2160 in 30 frames, 25 frames, and 24 frames per second. Now you guys don't want to see this video, but you guys want to see the pictures, the color depth. Now, as I said in my last video talking about the official Nikon D850 specs, they really turn things up. They really are turning this up, where this is the Nikon's first backlit illuminated, which is called BSI, full frame sensor with no optical low pass filter. So if you guys are really happy about that, that's pretty damn awesome to have that featured in a beautiful full frame camera. By the way, I if I was myself, I would be drawn to buying this camera. Yes, I've been using EVF a lot, but don't forget, we all started with optical. Okay, remember, you were never a EEF, or if you are new to photography and started off with EVF, this is something that you need to really learn about optical viewfinder. It's because with the optical viewfinder, you learn so much about looking through the lens, period. Now, I know some of you might say, well, EVF is so much better right now. Why would I want to go take a step back? Sometimes it's always good to take a step back, and sometimes it's not good, but it depends on the person. Keep that in mind. So, with that said, you got a very fast Xperia 4 or Xperia 5 quick processing unit with great diamond range. So, if you guys are not really familiar with how Canon announce the specs on this camera, it's supposed to be one stop better than the D5 and the D500. That means if you look at the scale cameras today, how they progressed over the years, it takes years to order to increase diamond range performance by one stop. It takes years for one camera to make this step. Okay, for Nikon to just come out and after the D5, which is not very old, which is what D5 is, what, a year and a half old now, a year old now, to better by one stop is a dramatic improvement on Nikon's favor, because Nikon has probably been keeping this under wraps for quite some time and unveiled that it's going to be one stop better than the D5 and D500. That is a big improvement, and as I said before, it takes years for a camera to improve its dynamic range stop, and that's a big improvement, I have to say. But as I said before, guys, it's based on opinions, and it is based on facts that Nikon is showing that it's not going to be dropping out this race. And some of you guys are probably wondering what race. Well, it's a race between DSLR and mirrorless cameras, and I would say it's not about the camera, it's about the user that selects the camera, that uses the camera. It's never about gear. Yes, we talk about gear as if gear helps us learn a thing or two, and it does, but what you have to remember is that gear always doesn't matter. You can shoot with a very, very intermediate camera and get good quality. It's based on the photographer. The photographer is what stands out the most. Who took the picture is the photographer. How did you take that picture? What made you take it at those settings? Oh, well, I learned this. It's the photographer. Now, I wouldn't say like buying a D850 would better your chances and understanding photography. It's a very expensive body, but you still have to buy lenses, okay? But you can see from these sample photos that it has been taken, and Kai, former of Digital Rap TV, already played with the camera and said that it was so lovely to handle and so good that he was very impressed. He cannot wait to get his hands on his copy so he can test it and give you guys a review on this. So I definitely recommend subscribing to Kai Wong's channel for informative, more detailed descriptions when using the camera. I don't like other photographers that don't really go out there and test it fully. You guys might say, well, what about Garrett Grove, the Afro boy? I tend like he's a fanboy. He really doesn't give you his honest opinion. Honestly, I think he sugarcoats it sometimes, and that's how I feel. It's my opinion, but I feel like he sugarcoats it. So Jared does sugarcoat it. Like, I can go to someone that's a Nikon fan, like Dustin Abbott. Dustin Abbott, you can subscribe to his channel. He basically describes his experience using Canon, a true one, because he is not sugarcoating it, but he loves Canon, and he loves messing with Canon glass and Canon bodies. He wants to honestly give everyone a good taste of what he experienced as a professional photographer. But then you have that one camera guy that is between Nikon and Sony, and that's what makes him also a great photographer and a great videographer. Because yes, he's a videographer and a shooter, because he gives his personal and professional opinions about how he shooting between two different bodies, Nikon and Sony. So check his channel out and subscribe to his channel. But if you guys are all about Sony, I definitely recommend going to the Jason Wong's channel if you guys would like to subscribe to his channel. But you got David Ostrich. He's in Australia. He's a great photographer and good mentor, by the way. He teaches you guys how to light portraits and how to better your business, how to get clients, and how to get models. So check out his channel. So, but the D850 shoots up 51 still frames than the D810 that shoots 28 frames. So that's a big dramatic boost, and with that performance, you're gonna get different selections on how you want to take your photos. Now, as you can see here, the premise here, the large at 45.4 megapixels, then you got a medium, which is 25.5 megapixels, then you got small at 11.3. so you have the option to change the raw file sizes or JPEG file sizes the way you want to shoot. Now, I know some of you guys are probably saying, well, my computer wouldn't handle 45.4 megapixel files like that. Those files must be large. Then you shoot at 25.5 megapixels. Okay, and if you want to shoot small at 11.3 megapixels, that works out for you. It depends on your workflow, so you don't have to always shoot at 45.4 megapixels. So yes, Nikon has given you the option to change your megapixel size based on your needs of how you perform in the real world. So if you are going to be shooting at these 3 different settings, it's up to you. You can change it based on your needs. So that is what every camera manufacturer should absolutely give us: options, better options. Sony started giving us that options, but do Canon give you those options? No. Now Nikon has given you those options to shoot. So this is a big step for Nikon. This is a big win for Nikon, by the way. If this camera is expected to be as good as they say it is, this is going to help Nikon step up the game, and going to help Canon step back, because Canon has found multiple times providing 4K SD card slots, better SD card slots and cameras, dual SD card slots and cameras. I'm not still bashing on the 6D Mark II, but you know, I still am pissed off about how Canon decided to put UHS 1 and a 6D Mark II that's supposed to be future proof, when UHS 2 would have been much more efficient. Don't you agree? But that's a little bit step back. The 1080p 60 frames is okay, but from the raw sample files that a lot of people have been going crazy about, it's soft, literally. And I do videography too. It's soft. It just, to me, it's just a little soft, in my opinion. I wouldn't want to shoot 1080p with that camera. So it's not really meant for 1080p. It's meant for shooting. But as I said, guys, this is going to be a great option if you really want to upgrade from the D810. And D810 is still a great camera. Don't get me wrong, still a great camera, still good camera range. And if you are shooting with the D5, you might want to actually add the D850 to your D5 collection, so you can have two cameras on the go that is going to be shooting the way you like it, and it's going to have the greatest thing. It's going to have an SD card slot and an XQD slot for you guys. So 2 card slots, SD card, XQD slot, works tremendously better. I wish Sony would have done the exact same thing that Nikon have done in the A9, but that camera's pretty small, and I'm pretty sure Sony could have done something to improve the economics on that body and added a XQD slot. I'm pretty sure in the next camera we might get that in the A7S Mark III. We might get that. We don't know. But with that said, guys, anyone in chatting? No one's chatting right now. I would definitely I wouldn't say thank you to Nikon, by the way, for making this happen, because a lot of people were starting to think, after all of this, it's 750 recalls 3 times. Everyone was thinking that Nikon had failed because of the flare issues that was going on with the shutter, and the flare, that's when you take a picture there was a flare due to the shutter. But everyone thought that Nikon was falling apart. I don't think Nikon was falling apart. I just thought Nikon was at the time trying to make things better, making it work out for the consumers and the photographers that actually ordered the D750, and try to make it right. And I think Nikon was trying to make it right, and I believe that from this day on Nikon was trying to make it right. So don't take my word for it, but this is what I believe, that Nikon tried to make it right. Okay, so with the D850 coming out, I think they're making it much better by listening to us photographers. Even if you're a Sony shooter or you're a Canon shooter, these are the things that we wanted in a full frame camera, and we are getting it. We're getting what we desired in a full frame camera. So think about it. So 8K time lapse. Now, to order to take advantage of the 8K time lapse, we will have to have 8K monitor, the latest GPUs, if you have the latest NVIDIA graphics cards, the latest AMD cards, the latest Intel processors, especially quad core, that can handle the processing of these large files. And it's supposed to do 4K time lapse in camera. Now 8K time lapse with an interpreter or intermittent timer, whatever, it's actually really called intermittent manometer, aka shutter remote release controller. Okay, well, it's gonna do 4K time lapse in camera, but I'm not quite sure about the processing, because I have done that with the Sonys, and Sonys did an okay job, and that's because in order to understand those applications and how those work, you really have to program it and really have to figure those applications on the Sony cameras, which I did, and I learned how to shoot manually with the application, not on the manually. But with the 4K time-lapse in camera, we have to see what kind of processing is actually doing in order to create those 4K time lapses. So, and it's supposed to be a smoother transition when exposing, but we will have to see. But to order to fulfill your desire to see 8K time lapse, you need an 8K monitor or TV. You need the latest GPU and CPU. To keep that in mind, and I recommend don't use mechanical hard drives. Use SSDs to make your processing much faster when dealing with 8K time lapse. So if you have SSDs, you must have SSDs to order to make your processing much faster. And I know if some of you that are using Lightroom might say, well, Lightroom still lags. Yes, it does, but if you are using any type of program to create your 8K time lapse, you want to use SSDs, and SSDs make the processing much faster and much easier. And that's all I use is SSDs. I even have SSDs in backup, so I even have my operation system backed up, but it's not backed up to where I can use it on one laptop. I can use it on multiple laptops, so therefore, and I can swap out my SSD. Yeah, so I have like 4 SSDs, and that's all I use is SSDs. I recommend SSDs. Only time I recommend mechanical hard drives is when you need to back up your data on a redundant drive somewhere and you're home. So say you have like 8 terabytes of storage that you're going to be placing these on. You need to back those up and back those up. I also still recommend using DVD disc to back up your photos on to what I'm trying to meant to say was, I'm sorry, you need to actually use discs to back up your data as well. You can't rely on mechanical hard drives all the time, but I do recommend hard drives to back up your data, and on top of that, back it on the cloud, back it on some disks, just in case there might be some failure with one hard drive. So you kind of want to have multiple hard drives to back up data, especially if you're going to be getting or taking large files. You kind of want to go with the terabyte hard drives. Terabyte hard drives are good, and you want to make sure that you are going to be using terabyte hard drives in RAID mode, so you can link them all together, so it can be, if one fails, and one hard drive fails, it all backs up to the other 3, so therefore you won't lose any data. But keep in mind, still backed up that data no matter what. But I got 2 users in here watching right now, but this is going to be the best Nikon camera yet, and I'm really happy for it. Now here's the grip. This is what I'm talking about, guys. You're gonna have to buy the D850 multiple battery power grip. This is going to also help you improve on the frames per second from 7 to 9 frames per second. So this is going to increase, and the reason why you need the grip to increase those frames per second is because it needs a little bit more power to increase that buffer and shoot and 9 frames per second. For shooting stills and continuous autofocus, the MBD18 increases the total shots counted in approximately, it gives you an estimate of 7,700 shots on a single range on a, what is that, the ENEL 18B battery. That's 145 minutes of HD video. That's what it's claiming, but you're gonna have to spend a couple $100 on this grip. And I would say, if you guys are out there that are into you need a little bit more weight to balance out your cameras, because there's a lot of people out there that are really into grips. I'm that person that are into grips. I feel like I have small hands, don't get me wrong, I don't have big hands, but I do like a grip. I like, especially if I'm using heavy lenses. Like for instance, I'm using the Sony A77 Mark II, and then when I was using also the A7R and A7R2, I always bought grips for those too, because I had heavy lenses that would be front heavy, and I would buy the grip, and the grip would help me sometimes balance out my shots, especially when I'm tipping forward when I'm not supposed to be tipping forward. Grips help a lot when balance out heavy lenses in front of bodies. Ooh, what is that? Construction during the day. But like I said, guys, it's gonna be up to you to decide if you want to buy this grip or not. But if you are going to buy the grip, if you are a person or a photographer that is looking into buying a grip for more power, more frames per second, this is the grip. It's gonna cost you maybe what, $3.99 for the grip. I think it is gonna be priced at $3.99, but it's gonna also has a fast wireless transmitter dock. See, I'm not sure about this thing is. It's called the WT7 wireless transmitter. It's supposed to help you transfer files over to. I don't know how it works really, to be honest, but I have to look into it. So when you are going to be looking, you might want to invest in something like that. If you are a pro photographer, you might want to invest in something like this. But with that said, the battery performance on the D850 is supposed to be 1840 stills from the D10, which is 1200 stills. So that's a big number if it increases. And not only that, SnapBridge is also included. Now, from my history, SnapBridge hasn't been the best. SnapBridge still needs a lot of work to a lot of work done, because SnapBridge is not intuitive at all. My Sony app does better than that, and sometimes I have to go in and out to connect to the Wi-Fi to my phone and then go back into the app with my Sony. But with that said, SnapBridge is not very great. A lot of people make jokes of SnapBridge because it's not perfected. I don't understand why Nikon didn't fix this. They should fix it. I really think they should go back into the R&D department and say, hey guys, we need better softwares, we need better engineers to better engineer our SnapBridge technology app. We need to fix it, because photographers want to share files on the fly as they're shooting. So, but don't take my word for it, but SnapBridge hasn't been very successful for a lot of Nikon shooters, in my opinion. But and let's see here, and that's pretty much it, guys. So with that said, we talked about the D850. We talked about its performance, its backlit technology, and oh, did I forget that it's supposed to have a silent shutter on this camera, which means that you can be at a wedding and get some great shots. Not only that, if you at a golf event, and I know the A9 comes in handy with this, but the A9 and the D850 are going to be the two cameras that are going to be great for golf tournaments, because at golf events they do not allow you to take in cameras that are going to be loud shutters, because you need absolutely silence when someone's about to hit the ball, right? So if you never shoot a golf event, that's what they're going to tell you. Are you a photographer? Don't shoot your camera if it's going to make that noise. We do not want that. So this is going to become in handy, that it's going to have a silent shutter release, and just like the A9 silent, which is going to be cool. But we're going to have to see how silent it is really, because if you're going to be at the golf course, at a golf tournament, and you want to take photos, it's best that you need to, this is going to be the camera for you. If you're that type of photographer that shoots professional golf tournaments, this is going to be the camera. This is going to be a camera that's going to be the one. So drop down the D810 for now and pick up the D850, and you would decide then. With that said, it's going to have a backlit buttons for night photography, and it's going to be a great all-around good camera. Now you can go to the Nikon website, you can check out the specs yourself. The specs are here. It's going to tell you the battery that is required to power this baby up, and it's going to tell you the native ISO performance. And as I said, Nikon states that is one stop better than the D5. So hopefully we see a better, a big dramatic diameter range test, and hopefully we get a true like Nikon personnel to test this. We're gonna see if Taiwan would test this and see the dynamic range. I really want to see some really good testing. For real, I really want to see some good testing. I really want someone to make a review on this camera and give us no bullshit, sugar-coated fanboy shit. An honest test review, because a lot of people are being paid to say what they want to say. And this is the thing about YouTube, is that when you have sponsorships and you get products for, say, like for free, and they want you to test it, and they want to pay you to say these things. See, it's them paying you to say these things that they want you to say, and I don't like that. I want someone to be strictly upfront and honest about their reviews. So, and I'm that type of person that would give you my honest review on it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't want to get paid. But I would love to get paid without telling a lie. That's the whole point. Why should you get paid for telling a lie? That's not informing the consumer or the photographer the truth behind the camera, and then the consumer or the photographer is returning that camera because they thought, because that on that one review, and they come back to their review and they change their thumbs up or the thumbs down, and they restate they comment and says, well, I bought the camera, you lied, it was not what you expected to be, you didn't test this correctly, do the tests over. That's the problem about these type of things. Now, the accessories, okay, here are the accessories. Everyone knows about the accessories and the rating. There's no rating yet, but as I said, guys, Nikon D850, you're ready. You can pre-order it right now and pre-order it. I'm not going to pre-order it. Don't have enough money to do that right now. But as I said, with that said, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. This is Kiki Alexander, also known as the Panda Photographer from 646studios.com. Please subscribe to this channel. Please support this donation PayPal links down below. I'm trying to actually buy a new laptop right now because I need a new laptop. So it would definitely help me if you guys hit that donation PayPal button, please. Definitely help, but also helps if you subscribe to this channel. If you follow me on Instagram, you follow me on Twitter, you follow me on Facebook. If you guys really want to know what the Facebook is, my Facebook is Kiki Alexander. So this is what you should see. Just look up this name, okay? And if you want to look up my other Facebook fan page, 646 Studios Photography, this is the Facebook 646 Studios Photography page. Look that up. And my Instagram is also there, but you can always go to my website at 646studios.com, where I have tutorials on videography, videography and photography. You can go and look at my galleries or my gear or whatever that you might want to see on them, or my time lapses. With that said, thank you for watching, everyone. I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, and make sure that when you are participating in any of these events, I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be in the Central California Bully Bowl 2 event on September 23rd. Here is the information. You can definitely talk to the host of this event. Find out how much tickets are. I think it's free, I think, or well, for dogs it's not. So if you want to enter your American, it has to be I believe it has to be full breed American Bulldog. Full breed, has to be full breed, I believe. So but don't take my word for it. But as I said, I'm gonna be there taking some photos. It's gonna be my first one taking photos of some dogs in activity. It's gonna be like sports photography, so I'm gonna be having my continuous autofocus, and I'm gonna be shooting 12 frames per second. And yeah, I'm gonna be shooting in RAW and or RAW JPEG, so it depends. But I'm gonna be probably shooting with the Cinema 1835. If I'm going to be doing portraits there, I'm probably gonna do some portraits I'm gonna bring all my gear. I have to bring all my gear. So I'm probably gonna set up a booth where I'm gonna take portraits of the owners and the dogs and get a nice portrait. Use some key lighting effects and some backlighting. We see how that works out. But with that said, $10 per person. It's $10 per person, guys. So if you are going to show up, it's $10 per person to participate and check it out. So yeah, Rico's in this chat right now. He's talking to us right now, but go to his YouTube channel, check out his work as well, because he does have a YouTube channel as well. But with that said, Rico Ramirez, I can never, my mouth is kind of dry right now, sorry guys, but yeah, he's going to be the host of this event. So it's an all-American bully dog breed, and it's full breeds, not half breeds, because half breeds don't count really, because let's be honest, in a real dog show, people really want to see 100% breeds, not half breeds. No one wants really half breeds. Full breeds are more ideal. But like I said, that's all the information there. You can check it out. Have fun, guys. Hopefully I see you there. As I said, I'm the Panda Photographer, all one word, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.